All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let me make sure everything is set up properly before we get into it. Shout out to everybody in the chat, tuning in, tapping in. Give me 1 second, you guys. Let me just make sure we are good to go here today. All right, man. And we are live, you guys. We are back. Welcome back, man. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Oh, let me finish my intro. Welcome back to another episode of the Winners Die Show. I'm your host, Project Mac, aka Mac Solomon. Welcome back, you guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. I had a great Christmas, great holiday. Um, this is a weird time right now we're in because that day after Christmas, leading into New Year's, is like the most awkward time of the year. Like everything is kind of just slowed down. It's quiet. The energy's off. I don't know what it is, and I made a post about this yesterday, and it did really well on Instagram and TikTok. But man, it's just a weird time right now, man. Just just this little downtime that we have from December 26th all the way up until this December 30th. It's always a weird time in the world. So I don't know. I hope you guys are adjusting to it or are acclimating to what's going on. But for me, man, it's no different. I'm just gonna continue to put the work in. I'm gonna continue to do what I need to do to, just continue to get to that next level. um, and I want to say, man, for you guys that's been supporting us on Instagram, man, Instagram, we have been doing numbers on Instagram. Instagram following has gone up as far as the Winners Diet Club. Instagram um, engagement is up, reposts and shares are up, following is up. So we appreciate just everybody that's been tapping in and supporting us throughout this journey. So we appreciate you guys. Um, it's been a long time, man. It's been a really long time because I remember 6 months ago when I was really posting my ass off on Instagram trying to get, the algorithm to notice me finally. And, it just wasn't going in my favor, man. And it got to a point where I was just like, man, like fuck this, you know? And but I just kept going, man, and eventually things started working out, man. And now Instagram is pushing our content, which is great. So you guys can follow us on Instagram, winnersdietclub.com or Winners Diet Club. The handle is down here. And then you can follow my personal Project Mac as well. So um yeah, man, it's amazing. Shout out to the chat. All right, let's see who's in the chat. We got who we got here. One Machado. What's up? What's going on? Then we got Gregorio Alvarado. Hey Andres. I don't know who that is. Um Zara Amaj. Hi, hello. How you doing? Can I send you $200? You can send me 500 actually. Um Venmo at Project Mac. Venmo at Project Mac. But anyway, now that that's out the way, we got a great show lined up for you guys today. It's gonna be a great show. Um, we got a lot of things to talk about before the new year is happening. But before we get into it, man, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Even the trolls, yes, you guys too. We appreciate you guys as well. You guys make the show. You guys make the show what it is. So we got to show you guys some love too. So shout out to the trolls. We appreciate you as well. Anyway, man, before we get into today's show, make sure you guys get my free 7-day fat loss guide If you guys are stuck on how to lose weight, lose fat, build muscle, I'm giving you guys a free 7-day guide on how to achieve that. It's free of charge, and it's really helpful, man. If you guys are stuck right now in your fitness journey and you're looking to if you're looking to start fresh January 1st, like most people are, this is the best way to start. So go ahead and get that. You can get it on winnersdietclub.com. So it's right there for you guys available. All right. All right, man. We got a great show lined up for you guys today. Of course, we have our first two segments before we get to the main event. The first segment, we have the Fit Report, reporting on fitness news, things happening in the fitness industry. Then we have What the Fitness. We are basically reacting to viral, trendy fitness videos. And then we have the main event, or the main topic of the day. Once it clicks, life changes forever. So we will be breaking that down towards the end of the show, around the 50-minute mark or so. So you guys can stick around or watch the playback. The choice is yours. All right. But again, before we get into the first topic, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Comment down below anything you want to see next or hear about next. All right. I'm going to give you guys about 5 seconds to get that done. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. All right. Did y'all hit that like button? Did y'all hit that subscribe button? All right, let's get into today's show, man. We got the first article here. It says people who post their workouts a lot may be dealing with psychological issues. So, people who constantly post their workouts on social media might be doing more than showing off their fitness grind. They could be trying to fill emotional gaps like validation or low self-esteem. A study from the University of Brunel, UK, found that frequent gym posters tend to score higher on narcissistic traits, often using fitness content to draw attention and approval. It doesn't mean something is clinically wrong, but it does hint that the habit can be tied to deeper emotional patterns or unspoken struggles. Interesting. Yeah, I've always said that people that, and this is mainly for people that are just starting out their fitness journey. If you're just starting out your fitness journey, do not post, your do not post on consecutive days that you're in the gym. Like, just keep it to yourself. Show us the progress when it's done or when you've made drastic changes. Like, for instance, like the people that are just starting out, that just get back into the gym or are starting the gym for the first time, when they go to the gym, they are the main ones that will be like day 1, day 2, day 3, and so on and so forth. Typically, in my experience, these people are usually the first ones to fall off. They're typically the ones that they start off strong, but they don't finish. They don't finish what they started, right? So they might have a good 2 weeks working out. They might have even a good month sometimes. But most of the time, man, they just don't finish what they start because they're really in there, man, not for themselves. They're in there for external validation. They're in there for the approval of other people. And when you have the approval of other people as a means of your motivation, well, 9 times out of 10, you know, the higher they climb, the harder they fall, right? 9 times out of 10, you're not going to stick to that plan. Like, motivation has to come from within. It has to come from your pain. It has to come from what you want to accomplish, you know? So whenever I see people that are posting a lot on social media about them in the gym and if they're new or just starting out again, 9 times out of 10, there are people that are really not in there for the right reasons. Now, when it comes to people that, are just naturally gym goers, yeah, I can see how there's a narcissistic approach to it, right? I can see how there's a lot of psychological, I don't want to say issues, but a lot of psychological, um I guess, warfare going on sometimes. Because the truth is, man, a lot of us need validation. And when you look at the fitness industry as a whole, it's a very vain industry. So it's not really about helping people, at least not the majority of it. A majority of the fitness industry is vanity. It's complete vanity. It's everybody for themselves. It's look at me, look at me, look at my biceps, look at my booty, look at my abs. That's kind of what the fitness industry has turned into over the last, I would say, 10 years. Because I've been in the industry for really 11 years. So like 2014. Um, and this was before social media kind of like took off. Of course, we had Instagram back then, we had Twitter, but not to this extent. So what you see now is this is completely different. This is new. We've never seen this before. We've never seen social media on this much of steroids, like no pun intended, right? So I can see how people that are constantly posting themselves working out and training and um doing things of of this nature, I can see how that can kind of be a narcissistic type of mentality and personality, just because social media is based off of now, at least now it is. Social media is based off of validation, man, and approval and acceptance, so everybody's trying to put their best foot forward. Everybody's trying to outdo the next man or woman. So I can see how this could be somewhat of a psychological issue. But if you're in there, to motivate people and get people off their ass and go train, then I don't see an issue with it. I haven't posted a workout video in I don't know how long. It's been months, but I used to be in there a lot, but it wasn't for validation. It was really for one, clients, two, motivation, and three, just to put myself out there, but it was never on some look at me shit. Like it was never on that type of time. I was always in there to really inspire, motivate, or market myself. So, um, I'm not saying I never did it for motivation or I never did it for validation. Of course, I think you posting in general is somewhat of a validation response. But would I say a majority of my posting on social media when it came to my workouts, was it for validation? I would say it was the smallest percentage. It was a very small percentage of that. Most of it was just for inspiration, motivation, and marketing. So um, it might change, man. I might be back on some bullshit in 2026. Who knows? You never know. I could change my mind and just say F everybody and I'm out here and this is what I'm doing. Look at my physique. Look at me doing all these bench press and barbell squats and all this other dumb shit. So who knows, man? But anyway, shout out to the gym community, man. You know, my thing is just keep inspiring people, That's all I want the gym community to never let go of. All right, let's move on to the next article here. What do we have? Shout out to everybody tapping in. All right, here we go. Night shift work increases diabetes risk by 28%. Working against your natural circadian rhythm disrupts glucose metabolism and insulin sensitivity. Night shift workers often experience impaired blood sugar control, even with similar diets and activity levels. Long term studies show a substantially higher risk of type 2 diabetes in people who worked rotating or permanent night shifts driven by circadian misalignment and sleep disruption. Light exposure, sleep timing, and meal timing all play a role. Yeah, man. Look, I used to work in the nights a lot. Years ago, I used to do valet. I used to do security. So I would be up late at night, man, and I noticed a big difference, especially when I was doing valet. I think valet, I was maybe I was like the second heaviest I've ever been when I was doing valet. Because one, I was there from 7 to 3 a.m. in the morning. Um, and then on top of that, they would have food for us for during our break. So if we were there late at night, and this was at a hotel, by the way. So if we were there late at night, they'd have like food come and for everybody that worked there, from the valets to the servers. It was a big hotel, so everybody used to use the kitchen, from the people that worked in the hotel to the valet workers to the bellman to the who else, man, the house cleaner. So everybody used to be in the cafeteria late at night, if they were on break, and there'd be food all over the place. There'd be um you know uh there'd be like full courses, and then there'll be different options to choose from. Sometimes there'll be dessert. So you add that on top of going to bed late every night. you know Me, I was still working out. I would work out in the daytime and then go to work. So like exercise was never a thing for me. But I can imagine for most people that don't work out, and then on top of that, you add in the late night eating. On top of that, you add in the desserts, and then or just their sleep schedule is off. They're not going to bed at a decent time. So all these things can contribute to you, one, getting severely out of shape, and then two, increasing your risk of diabetes or any other type of like high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Um, so I can see that, man, and I've done that, and I've seen myself gain weight while doing that. Security was a little different. I try to watch what I eat, but I still would go to bed at a late time. So my sleeping schedule was always off because I'm usually I wouldn't say I go to bed early, but I'd be in bed by like 10, 11. you know, like a decent time, 10, 11. But sometimes I'd be in bed by 2, 3 a.m., stay late, and then on top of that, I'm drinking energy drinks. So I'm already wired up. So sometimes I couldn't fall asleep right away. So it was just it wasn't a good situation. And I don't recommend that for anybody that's trying to get in shape. You definitely don't want to have a job where you're up late at night and you're trying to get in shape. And it's just, I'm not saying you can't get in shape, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to get in shape. Some guys make it happen. Some guys, it's a little bit harder, just because throwing yourself off that routine, it can make a big difference. So if you're used to going to bed at 9, 10 p.m., but now you're going to bed at 4, 5, 6 a.m., that could make a huge difference, man, of how you show up to the gym. Just your body adapting to everything that's changing. So yeah, man, you have to watch what you eat. I think that's the most important thing. If you are going to work late at night and work late shifts, you definitely have to watch what you eat. You definitely have to make sure you're sticking to a strict and routine workout schedule. And then on top of that, man, just try to stay hydrated. Try to drink as much water as you can. These are just basic fundamentals, but it's very hard to kind of maintain this type of schedule when your your routine is just all over the place. So it's hard, man. It's difficult, but it can still be done, right? You can still be in shape and work, night shifts, graveyard shifts. It's going to be a little bit harder, but it can still be done if you just put in some effort. All right, man. Let's move on to the third article here. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. All right, here we go. So this article says police dogs pass their final exam by ignoring one of their biggest triggers. This involves them having to ignore a live cat walking directly in front of them. So here we go. Police dogs are required to pass rigorous final exams before being certified for active duty, testing both obedience and impulse control. One of the most difficult assessments involves ignoring a live cat walking directly in front of them, despite the animal triggering natural prey instincts. This test ensures police dogs can maintain discipline and remain focused in unpredictable environments without reacting to distractions that could compromise their safety. Man, that is very interesting. And this is a good article because, man, it just shows you that even dogs have a level of discipline to that they need, that they know they need to become successful at what they're trying to do. You know? So a lot of you guys can't even stick into a workout routine for 2 weeks. A lot of you guys can't stick to a basic diet plan for 2 weeks. But here you have dogs that have developed the utmost discipline on top of months probably of training, and you're telling me you can't do the same for about 2 weeks to a month. It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. You know, discipline is not easy, man. Discipline is one of those things where you really have to want to do it. You know, it's not about liking it, but it's like, you have to do it. Like you got to do this. I don't want to eat right every single day. I don't want to work out all the time, but I need to do it. I need to do it. Like it's something that you need to do. That's what discipline is. Like you don't have to like it. You don't have to want to do it every day, but you need to do it. It's one of those things where you need to do it. Like there's no other choice around it. And I think once you reframe your thinking and your mentality towards discipline, I truly believe it gets easier. I truly believe the process gets easier. Some may not agree, some may disagree, but I truly believe, man, if you just reframe your mindset to thinking, man, this is something I need to do. I don't have to like it. There's a lot of things I don't like, but I still do it because I need it. I need it. It's all about reframing, man. Like they teach us, they taught me this in sales. Like reframing things, it makes you look at it in a different light, and it makes it easier for you to adapt to it. But if you have a fixed mindset towards something, then it's going to be harder for you to acclimate to that thing. It's going to be harder for you to accept to do that thing. So I think it takes work, man. It takes work, it takes practice, it takes repetitions. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. But man, look, even dogs have discipline, man. You have to have discipline to pass the academy. Even dogs know how important it is. You don't think they want to go and chase that damn cat and bite its head off? Its natural instinct is to do that. But they've developed a level of discipline to where at that moment, that doesn't matter. That is not important. What's more important is us passing this damn test and achieving this damn goal. And that's the same mentality that you need to have if you want to see results in your fitness journey. Hey, eating this chicken and rice and vegetables, it may not be what I want to do right now. I really want that cheeseburger. But for right now, this is more important. For right now, this is what I need to do. And that's kind of how you need to reframe your mindset when it comes to you achieving your fitness goals. All right, man. That is it for the fit report. Shout out to everybody in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button. Let's move on to what the fitness. All right, here we go. Here's the first video. Let me go ahead and refresh this. And here we go. He's okay. This guy says addicts and alcoholics can make some of the best gym rats. All right, here we go.
Addicts and alcoholics can make some of the best gym goers. As someone that used to be addicted to drinking and partying back in Denver, I would stop at nothing to make sure during my breakup that I could go out and drink and party, even if I didn't have any money. So what I would do is I would DoorDash for like 3 hours, a couple days a week, just to make sure I had enough money to make sure I could go out and fucking drink and go chase girls. So that correlated to me with my gym progress, right? So now I'm stopping nothing to make sure I get my gym session in, and I'm strict about it. Same with my food. So if you're a former addict, whether it's alcohol or drugs, I promise you, you can see a lot of great results at the gym because you will stop at nothing to make sure it gets done.
All right. Interesting post. One thing that y'all need to realize, man, about the gym in itself is that the gym brings in so many different types of people from different backgrounds, from different reasons as to why they're there. And a lot of times, man, if you, I'm not saying you can tell every single time, but a lot of times, many people that go to the gym are there because they're battling addiction. And I think one tail sign to recognize that is tattoos. If they're super inked up, that is a tail sign that they're probably in there trying to fight addiction or alcoholism. This is just my experience. I'm not saying this is right all the time. I'm not saying this is I'm not saying this is the case every single time. But what I am saying is a majority of the time, if you see people in there constantly working out that are inked up in tattoos, they're in there at a certain time, right? You have to go at a certain time to realize this. 9 times out of 10, man, they're either battling, they're either they're either battling addiction, alcoholism, or like a super rough breakup, you know. So it's, you know, you can't tell which one is which, but a lot of times, man, they're in there for a reason, and we're all in there for a reason, right? Some people are in there to lose weight, some people are in there to build more muscle, some people are in there just because, you know, they're trying to pass time by. I don't know. Their company is paying for their membership, so they wanted to go. But you know, then you have people that are in there because of heartbreak and addiction and alcoholism and just life, you know. So that's one thing about the gym, man. It's not, the gym isn't a place that people go just for, you know, to look good. It's not a place just for weight loss. Like people go there for a variety of different reasons, you know, and alcoholism, addiction, these are some big issues or reasons as to why people go to the gym. And you will realize if you just get to know people, ask them around, like ask around or just talk to people and network, man, um, you'll be surprised, bro. Like they're in there constantly, they're working their ass off. It's like a lot of times you don't even realize the type of shit that they're going through. So That's why it's always good, man, especially in the gym. You treat everybody with respect. You know, you practice common courtesy, gym etiquette, because you never know what somebody is going through. You never know what somebody's going through. Not in the gym, because a lot of times the gym has become more of a, I don't want to say it's become a hangout spot, but it's become kind of a self isolation thing to a certain degree. You know, it used to be a place where people would come and network, and it still is. I'm not saying it isn't, but man, just the way gyms are now, especially with men and women, right? It's different with men and men or women and women, but when it comes to men and women, like it used to be more of a social thing as well. But now everybody's kind of to themselves. Nobody really talks to each other. Guys are, I don't want to say afraid, but they're cautious of going up and talking to girls because they don't know if a camera's on and they don't want to be labeled a creep. So, you have that factor and girls are just always on alert and they're wondering if guys are trying to talk to them. Like it's just turned to one of those things, and it never used to be like that, but it just is what it is. But moral of the story is, man, just you never know what somebody's going through. So there's people in there for a variety of different reasons. So just be cautious, treat everybody with respect, treat everybody as you want them to treat you. And just practice proper gym etiquette, man. And you know, it is what it is. All right, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We're gonna move on to the second video. Please and thank you. Shout out to everybody in here tuning in and tapping in. All right, here we go. Where are we at with it? We have this guy here. All right, kind of just what I was talking about early on, man. So right here is a video of the average day between Christmas and New Year. So, like I said, it's a weird time from December 26th all the way up into January 30th or December 30th. It's a very weird time. So this time, family is still in town. People are still eating Christmas leftovers. The gym is still pretty empty. So let's take a look at what this video is talking about.
Do we have any snacks left?
Yeah, we do, but do you really want to eat those snacks?
Please go get it. I just want some snack food. I promise that I will try harder the next day.
Yep. That's pretty much what the gym, that's pretty much what the energy is in the world right now. Everyone's just eating food right now. We're just eating food. We don't know why we're eating food, but we're eating food, and that's partially, man, because just the energy in the world is just different. The energy's off. Depending where you are, if it's colder, that makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. At least I'm in California, so we still have somewhat sunshine in the daytime, but just everything is off right now, man. And people are just mindlessly snacking and stuffing their faces, and it's just a lazy time right now, and you can feel it. You can definitely feel it. But I recommend people, man, get up off your ass and still go and put that work in, because it doesn't matter whether it's January or December 27th or January 27th. Like, your routine is your routine. Like, that shouldn't compromise because it's the holiday season or it's right before New Year's. So you want to make that New Year's resolution on January 1st. So now you're just being a fat pig from December 26th to December 30th. Nah, man, get up off your ass and go put that work in. Get up off your ass and go for a walk, hit some steps, burn some calories. It doesn't matter, man. January 1st is irrelevant. Like, this should be something that you need to start today. Your body doesn't know when January 1st is. It just knows that you're putting in the work regardless. It knows when you're moving your body. It can't tell when, the new year is here. It doesn't know. So my advice to people that are in this stage, man, get up and do something. get up and touch some grass, go for a walk, move your body. You know, I know people are still eating leftovers and family is still in town, but just do something, man. Do something that is productive. I know you might still have time off of work, but just move your body. It doesn't, 30 minutes to an hour a day. Move your body, do something. It's not going to kill you. All right. Let's get it in to this last video here before we get to the main topic of the day. All right, here we go. All right, let me refresh this real quick. This is a funny one. All right, this guy says, if we're arguing and you're fat, you already lost. All right, here we go.
If you and me are arguing and you're fat, you already lost, bro. I'm going to flick your titty. And a lot of people say,
you can't be bullying like that. You can't be talking like that if you're going to be a coach.
look, the people who are actually going to change, who have that desire, it's not bullying to them. It's an awakening. And let's be honest, the ones who need someone to hold their hand and be like, come on, you got this. They're not going to stick to it. Yeah, they start, but when things get hard, they're going to give in. So get your feelings hurt, go on and cry about it. Now we know the type of person that you are. And the ones who are like, fuck, this guy's right. What am I doing? They're going to go transform their lives, their body. And you're going to stay there making the same excuses. Oh, they just got lucky. Yeah, things just worked out better for them. If you and me are arguing.
Hey, man, he's kind of right. But to be honest, he himself is kind of chubby. He himself is kind of chubby. So, right message, wrong messenger. I'm going to say that. But he's half right on that, right? One, you can't argue with me and be out of shape. Like if you're arguing with me and you're trying to make a case and debate me, I just can't take you serious, man. I can't take you serious. If you're trying to argue with me and you have a fat ass neck, you have a double chin, your belly's hanging out, I can't take you serious, man. I can't do it. Like, you have things that you need to work on before you present your argument to me. I just can't take you serious. And nobody else can either. Like, nobody else is going to take you serious and want to hear what you have to say when you have all these deficiencies going on. It just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Like, there's just certain things, man, that you have to have self-awareness for. Like, for me, I'm not going to argue with somebody that makes more money than me. It's just dumb. Like, why would I do that? There's just certain things, bro, you have to really stay in your lane for. And I know it's, people gonna bring up, oh, well, money doesn't matter, and this, and your how you look doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, especially to men, because this is how we keep score. Men keep score like this. Yes, men keep score this way. So you can't be fat. You can't be broke. You can't be getting no girls trying to argue with somebody that does. You can't. It's just, you don't meet the qualifications, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how men keep score. Women are different, but men, this is how we keep score. This is how we decide who's worthy of a conversation and who's not worthy of a conversation. Is it harsh? Yes. But is it how life works? Yes. There's certain things that are not good to hear. Some people don't want to hear this shit, man. But it is what it is. And he brought up a great point about bullying. Sometimes people have to talk to you a certain way before you finally get it. People want to have gentle coaching. I don't believe in gentle coaching. Now, I'm not saying be a tyrant and just yell and scream. I think there's a level of leadership that comes with coaching. And I don't think that just screaming and calling people names is a great approach. But it gets to a point where you have to have uncomfortable conversations with people. And sometimes it's going to be things that they don't want to hear. So yes, if you are 20 pounds overweight and you have a double chin and you're huffing and puffing after taking a couple steps. And yeah, this is something that we have to call out. Like, we have to address this. We got to address this. We can't see the truth and not speak on it. There's just certain things that you have to speak on. Part of leadership is bringing up uncomfortable conversations. I can't talk to somebody that I'm trying to get to the next level in their fitness journey. I can't be gentle with you. I have to tell you, hey, this is where we need to improve. Hey, this is where you are right now. It's not good enough. So this is how we're going to get here. And if you have a weak mentality, if you have a weak mindset and think that, oh, he's picking on me, oh, he's calling me names. All right, well, stay where you are then, because this was never going to work in the first place. The truth is going to hurt sometimes, man. Unfortunately, everything can't be sugar and spice and everything nice. It's not how life works. I wish it did, but sometimes you have to hear things about yourself that you don't want to hear. And part of getting to that next level in whatever lane that you're in, it's about living through your insecurities and getting through those insecurities. But if you want to hide in fear and never address it, well, then you're going to be just stuck where you are. Stay living in fear, stay having a victim mindset, and don't improve, because that's where you're headed. So yeah, man, I definitely agree with that. Don't try to argue with me if you're overweight, if you have a fat ass neck, if you got a double chin, if you built like a pear. Don't try to argue with me, man. It's not going to be good for you. You have to have some level of self-awareness to understand that being fat is not acceptable. And some people are going to call that out if things get heated. And you got to be okay with that, because it's what you are. It is what it is. All right, man. Let's get to the main event today. I think, is that it? Do we have one more? I'm pretty sure we have one more to go. No, we don't. I think I had one last time. Let me actually pull up this last article, because I definitely want to make sure I don't skip through it. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. I think I missed it last time. Make sure I don't forget it this next time. All right, here we go. This is the one. All right, here we go. All right. So you guys know how I feel about alcohol. I've been sober for the last damn near year now, going on a year. I haven't drank alcohol in over a year. So this is interesting. But this guy talks about how as long as alcohol is in your body, you cannot burn fat. So let's take a look.
A yearly reminder that while alcohol is in your system, you cannot burn fat. And in some cases, alcohol can stay in your system for up to 72 hours, depending on how much you drink. Check this out. If you drank Friday, Saturday, Sunday, your body would not begin to burn fat again until Thursday.
Everybody always gets so fucking butthurt about this, especially because it's normally someone that actively drinks. But you cannot lose body fat while alcohol is in your system. That shit has to be burned off entirely and fully out of your system for your body in order to start the fat loss process. And it can stay in your system up to even a week. It's ridiculous that you think you're going to be able to hit your fitness goals when you binge drink Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Your body finally gets back to normal. Guess what? You binge drink again and hop back on the wagon and just keep delaying your progress. No cycle is going to fucking save you. No diet can fucking save you. if you just binge drink every single fucking weekend out with the boys. You're not going to reach your fitness goals. You're not going to make progression in the gym. All it's going to do is raise your cortisol levels and probably cause some slight depression.
This is your yearly reminder.
That's it, man. Like I always say, man, there really is no benefit to drinking alcohol. Look, man, all it's going to do is raise your cortisol levels, cause depression, increase your fat storage, and just ruin any type of gym progress that you've been working on. So, and I'm not saying never drink alcohol. I'm talking about binge drinking alcohol. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks plus in one sitting, right? You can have a glass of wine, you can have one drink, but most people cannot handle one drink. When they have one, they got to have two. 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 4, and so on and so forth. So how in the hell are you ever going to lose body fat when you have alcohol in your system constantly? It takes days to reset. And when you finally reset, guess what you do again? You go and binge drink again and repeat the cycle over and over again. And then you wonder why. Why can't I lose weight? Why can't I get rid of this damn belly? Why can't I get rid of these love handles? You're doing it to yourself. You're doing it to yourself. There's no benefit to drinking alcohol. Not to mention how dumb you act when you're under the influence. Like I always say, man, the dumbest things I've ever done in my life, 95% of the time, I was under the influence. I was drunk. I had way too many drinks. I said things I shouldn't have said. I did things I shouldn't have did, all because of alcohol, all because I was drinking too much. So if you can't have a good time without drinking, you need to reevaluate. You need to reevaluate yourself. You have to check, you have to get your priorities in check. You have to seriously think if you have an issue, because it's serious. Most people are alcoholics and don't even know it. That's a real thing. Most people are alcoholics and don't even know it. I had a girl I was seeing, this was years ago. And whenever I would go to her house, man, this girl would be downing a whole bottle of wine to herself. And one day I'd ask her, I'm just curious, man, like, how many of these do you go through a night? She was like, man, on a good night, 2, but at least every night, at least 1. Every night, at least 1. So this girl would go through a whole bottle of alcohol, or she would go through a whole bottle of wine by herself every single night. And on a good night, it'd be 2 bottles. And she did not think this was an issue at all. In the back of my mind, I knew, okay, this girl's an alcoholic. She didn't even realize. She thought it was normal. She was like, oh, I do this all the time. It's not an issue. But I guarantee you, she didn't even know she was an alcoholic. She didn't know that she had a major, major issue. And this is how a lot of people operate, man. They can't operate being sober for a short period of time. They can't operate throughout life without having this type of vice. They need some type of they need something that's going to make them feel, they need some type of stimulation so that they can get through life for whatever reason. I get it. Life is hard. Life is not fair to a lot of people. But if you use alcohol as a tool to get through life, to get through your issues, man, you have a major problem, man. You have a major issue that needs to be addressed. And the longer you put it off, one, you're not gonna get in shape. You're not ever gonna get in shape. And two, man, you're just gonna delay more of what you need help with, right? You need help and you don't even realize that you need help. So, and so this is why, man, alcohol is just binge drinking. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm not saying stop drinking, but I am saying limit your drinking if you want to get in shape. If you don't want to get in shape, if you don't care, hey, have at it. Do what you want to do. But I'm talking about the people that do want to get in shape. You have to seriously evaluate your life and priorities, man. Have some self-awareness, know that you have an issue, and know that this is something that's going to hold you back from getting to where you really want to be. All right, man. This is the last and final segment. We are at the 50-minute mark. All right, let's get to the main event, the main topic of the day. Once it clicks, it changes forever. So what this means, you guys, is the day you realize, and this doesn't have to be for fitness. This could be just for life, period, right? The day you realize what it takes to get what you want, whatever type of results you want, success, whatever the case is, right? It all applies in the same realm. The day you realize what it takes to get to that next level, you can't really look at life the same. Because in order to get to the next level in whatever it is that you're pursuing, there's going to have to be a, how do I say this? There's going to have to be a routine in place. There's going to have to be a level of order that's in place. You have to develop a system that's in place in order to get to the next level. To get to the highest level, it's the same thing times 10. But I say this because the day I realized what it takes to really see growth in business, to really see growth in my body, I couldn't look at life the same, because at one point I was all about just hanging out, having fun, going out with friends, drinking, I wanted to be here, 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 and here. But then you look at and study what the really successful people are doing. You look at the people who have the body that you want. They're not doing these things. They're not outside every night. They're not binge drinking. They're not eating whatever they want. They're in bed at a certain time. They're disciplined to their routine. They say no to cravings. They have a boring lifestyle. Their lifestyle is very boring, but they're at the level that they are because they have developed these things. And I don't think that we understand this enough when it comes to, mainly in this case, just getting back in shape. We make too many excuses as to why we can't get there, and we don't know what consistency actually looks like because we've never seen it. But the ones that are at the level that you want, they've developed that level of consistency. And that's been through just having a disciplined routine. That's just been through having a solid system in place. So a lot of us wonder why are we not getting there? Like, I'm trying, I'm working my ass off. I think I'm doing enough, but what you're missing is you don't have the consistency. You're still trying to take shortcuts. You don't like to be uncomfortable. You think progress feels slow. And you just don't have the same level of discipline because you just haven't realized what it takes yet, right? And everything that you get in this situation, everything is earned, man. You earn this shit. Look at where I was 6 months ago as opposed to my social media compared to now. And I'm not saying that I'm out of here, right? I got 100,000 followers, but now, because I've been consistent for about 6 months, Now the algorithm is finally rewarding me slowly. I'm not saying it's a big jump. I'm not saying it's a big turnaround, but now they're finally rewarding me. And it's a good feeling, man, because now you understand what it takes, right? It takes consistency. It takes showing up when you don't want to show up. It takes you questioning if what you're doing is the right thing. It takes you questioning if what you're doing is wasting your time. Like, these are all thoughts that go through your head throughout the process of you trying to change yourself, trying to improve yourself. It's not a very comfortable feeling. And you see why most quit. But the ones that do, the ones that stick through this, man, they see the finished product on the other side. So here's a video of a guy breaking this exact thing down. Let me pull it up real quick. Where is it at? All right, here we go. Let me refresh this video. So this guy says, once you become conscious, your life stops being fun. Here we go.
The more that you know, with the more that you improve, your burdens increase. When your knowledge is abundant, your burdens increase. Why? Because now you know too much. But when you were ignorant, when you didn't know, you didn't have to think about anything. So the more things that you learn, damn, this hamburger has this in it. These chips have this in it.
Yep.
These biscuits have this in it.
Yep.
They're doing this to people over in this country. They do this on the city council. The more things you learn, the more sorrow you have. You have grief because you know too much and things hurt, and you can't just turn away from them and act like they don't exist. So what that does is that separates you from other people. People that may be committed to pushing the agenda forward. We call those agents. They may not know it, agents of the matrix. So they may not know it, but that's essentially what it is. So your sorrow increases, but when you were ignorant, you were having a good time. This is why they say ignorance is bliss. But the more you know, it's a burden to know these things, because you're sitting up watching things and you have to act like you're not watching them. You have to act like they don't exist. While everybody else is having a good time, everybody else is paying it no mind because they're not aware. And so now you find yourself separating from other people, because you start talking this stuff around other people, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a big problem because they're unknowing and you're just going to look simply crazy. So the more you know, the more knowledge you have, your grief and your burdens are going to increase. So you have to understand that that's just a part of it. So just like ignorance is bliss, knowing can also save your life. That's the other part.
That's the unfortunate reality, man. The more you know, the less fun life becomes. And I broke this down early on, right? I talked about this early. The more you understand what it takes to win, not just through your body and fitness, but just through life, period, life stops becoming fun, man. When you're in that mode, when you're on that journey, life just stops becoming fun. You can't eat the same things. You can't hang out with the same people. You can't, like, you just know way too much. Like, your knowledge has just exceeded beyond what you normally have been accustomed to. And this can be a good and bad thing. It can be a good thing because now you're more aware, you're selective, you're not just putting anything in your body, you're not just being around everybody. You monitor what you listen to. You don't have the same habits as the average person, so that puts you in a different category. However, when you're ignorant and you do partake in things like going out all the time and eating whatever you want, hanging around people and just doing wild activities, life is way more fun, man. Life is way more fun that way. When you don't know shit and you're ignorant and you're just oblivious to life and you just want to have fun and be outside and be on the scene, life is amazing. It's fun. You know, you're living. But what you don't know is that you are slowly destroying yourself. And that's the unfortunate reality that most people don't realize. Sometimes it's good and bad to know too much, man. That's just the oxymoron in this whole situation. But when you know too much, you find yourself outside of the matrix. You're not participating in what everybody else is doing because you know better now. You know why this food is banned in all these countries. You know why certain activities are banned in certain countries. You know why this food makes people feel a certain way. You just know way too much for your own good. And that's a great thing, but at the same time, it takes the fun out of life. And it causes you to somewhat isolate yourself and be more of I don't want to say a loner, but you just find yourself spending more time with yourself more. Because you know what you like and what you don't like and what you tolerate and don't tolerate. And sometimes people can bring that type of energy that you're trying to stay away from. Because most people are still stuck in the matrix, unfortunately. And they will be forever stuck in the matrix because they just don't have that drive or will to change. That's why most people are fat. They're diabetic. You know, they don't have any plans of earning more money outside their 9 to 5. They kind of just live life going through the motions. This is what it means to be in the matrix. But because you have more knowledge than the average person, if that's you, you want more for yourself. You want better. You want to be in the best shape possible. You watch what you eat. You're not over drinking. You know, you're hanging around just a select few of people that kind of share a similar mindset. Like your life is just structured in a way that makes no sense to the average person. And that's because things click for you, like things made sense. And now you don't look at life the same anymore. And once you do that, man, you don't know how liberating that feels, man. You don't know how much freedom that can bring somebody. But I just encourage everybody, man, to one, don't adopt the routines and average thinking of the average person. Like, try to be a self-thinker. Try to be someone that thinks for themselves and has their own philosophy. You know, I always advocate for that. And if something doesn't make sense to you, question it. You know, but once you start doing these things, man, and just start really understanding what life is and what life needs to be and how you need to look and feel, then things are going to start making sense. And when things start making sense, things don't make sense anymore. I'll say it again. When things start making sense, when you finally wake up and realize things are the way they are, things will stop making sense. And that's when you realize, okay, it's starting to click now. I see what's going on. So anyway, man, that's been today's show. Shout out to everybody that's been in. We'll be back on Wednesday again. Man, follow us on Instagram, Winners Diet Club. We're going crazy on there. You can follow my Instagram as well. My private, I mean, not my private, but my public personal Instagram, Project Mac. Like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate you guys always for tuning in and tapping in with us. We'll see you guys again. You guys have a great rest of your holidays. See y'all soon. Peace.